Hello everyone, Wicked here with a video about Dead by Daylight. I see that there's a lot of videos out there right now on how to farm blood points, but not too many on how to bank them. So what I mean by that is instead of just earning the blood points and spending them, we're looking at storing as many as possible and having a reserve of blood points so that when we want to have a mass leveling session, we have the capability to do so. Now this is something you typically see players do in the days or weeks before a new DLC chapter drops. Or maybe there's just a blood hunt or a double blood point weekend. And so people are just looking to store as many as possible, maybe to prestige or something like that. So I'm just going to show you how to store as many as you can possible in your reserve. So when that new content drops, you could level it as soon as possible. And of course, I'm playing on console, so it's a little slow, forgive me. But here we are, we have our currencies at the top. And as you probably know, your blood points are listed up here. And this is capped at 1 million, which means once this hits that number, anything that you receive either from dailies or even just from playing will just go to garbage. It doesn't go anywhere. You don't actually get it. So you want to get this up to 1 million once you're getting ready to use your points to level. Okay? Another way a lot of people know about this is if you go to your daily rituals, you'll have anywhere up to 3. You could have 1, 2, or 3, no more than that. Daily rituals, every day you get a new one. You could re-roll one of the ones you have if you don't like it. And once you complete these, they give you these bonus blood points. You've probably seen these before. And you can see my first one here is completed. These two I have yet to do because I still have some time. But you can actually save these. You can see I have not redeemed this, even though I have completed it. So I basically have 25k blood points sitting here, just ready to use and redeem when I want to. But I'm not going to do that. I'm going to save them. Now, these amounts vary, of course. It depends on the dailies. The lowest I've seen, I think, is 20k for saboing hooks. And the most I've seen is 60k for mooring. So typically what I do in the week or two before a new DLC is I start doing my dailies. I get them all completed. And then each day, since I have the potential for a new one, I redeem one, usually the cheapest one. So this one I'd probably redeem one of these 25k ones in hopes of getting a new daily that is a 60k one. So potentially you could have 60, 60, and 60. That's the dream. And that would give you 180k blood points stored right here. So depending on what dailies you get and when you start redeeming them and whatnot, you can have anywhere from 60 to 180k blood points stored here, in addition to the million that you have in your normal blood point pool. So there is another new way to do it now that the archives are here. Let's go to the archives. Let's go to the archives. And this has been posted on Reddit a bit. People have probably seen screenshots of this. I'm just going to show it in action a little bit. I have used this method to store some points. I haven't done it as efficiently as I could. So you can see I'm on level 2 of the tome here, the first tome that's come out. And you may notice that some of these nodes are yellow, but I did not redeem them. You can see it says press and hold to claim the challenge. I guess claim is the word. But I have not claimed these. So these are literally 35k. 35k, blood points sitting here that I have free to use. That's 140k total that I just have sitting here ready to use. I didn't do this as efficiently. If you think about how this works, I could have done this node right here that I have selected, appeal to heal. I could have done this as well and kept that unclaimed, as well as this one, blood debt, since it's a terminal one. I think that's all I could have done. So basically, you could leave some unredeemed or unclaimed, as long as you have one path that will still go and reach all of them. So I don't have to cash these in until I feel like it. Now, the only exception to this is, see how these two connect to the epilogue? When Tier 3 of the tome is released, which is next week on the 27th, I think, I won't be able to do any of Tier 3 until I complete this epilogue node. So I will have to redeem one of these two, but still, I'll have the others in reserve, and I could literally come back to it whenever I want. And same thing goes for level 1. Now, level 1, it's a sad story. I didn't know you could do that, and I just got excited and redeemed everything. So, but if you look at this, there's a lot of terminal points here where I could have also saved up some blood points. Like just going through it here off the top of my head, I could have saved this one, this survivor node right here. I could have saved this survivor node with Claudette. I could have saved this killer node here and this survivor node, at least these two. I could have saved until Tier 2 of the archives came out because I would have needed to redeem this. But I could have had those saved up and ready to claim when I wanted. I could have had this one ready to claim whenever I wanted. I could have had this one ready to claim whenever I wanted. And then I could have had, I think it would have been one of these two I could have had, as long as I still had one of them open for a path to the rest here. So I think there's probably maybe 7, it looks like, nodes that I could have had stored here that I did not. So that would have been about 150 to 165K depending on when I did it. So that's another whole mass of blood points I could have had saved that, I mean, I failed to do that, but you can continue to do this every time there's a new tier of the current tome, and tomes are permanent. They never go away. So I can keep this here and keep these yellow until I really need them. Like I said, the only exception is these two. I'll have to redeem one of these in order to cash this epilogue in to get tier 3 when it comes out. But depending on the calendar, you know, there's going to be multiple tomes. There's going to be multiple DLCs, obviously. Depending on how this works out, if you ever get a new DLC coming, you may be able to actually keep these in reserve. I think the new DLC is coming before level 4 of the tome, so I'll probably have a lot of points stored in 3. But anyway, hopefully that gives you a little bit of a breakdown on all the ways you could save your blood points. So to total them up, you can have 1 million total blood points in your normal blood point pool. In addition to that, you can have 180K blood points, and that will be from your daily rituals if you happen to get lucky enough to get 3 Mori ones. So this number will vary, but at most it could be 180K. And then you also get some from the archives, and this number is going to be highly variable. Right now it's averaging out to about 150K between tier 1 and tier 2, depending on how you level it out and how many nodes you actually keep unclaimed. But keep in mind as well, this number is bound to grow depending on what stage in the tome you are at. So if you keep in mind, if you're able to store and claim a lot of, unclaim a lot of the rewards and challenges for tier 3 and tier 4, those are obviously going to be more blood points than say tier 1 and tier 2, because the rewards for those challenges are much greater. So I'd be curious to see once those come out how those nodes will look and how we can actually, how many blood points we could store there. So that is how I come across to that number of about 1.3 to 1.4 million blood points that you can ultimately save. And of course, this is, you know, pending any changes. Of course, if the dailies change at all, or the blood point, the blood point normal bank changes at all. Let's hope behavior adds a devotion-based bank at some point. That would be great. But at this time, you can currently save anywhere between 1.3, maybe even 1.5 million blood points. So when that new DLC drops, you can level your survivor or your killer as quickly as possible. And you can even see my main is Feng Min here. Oops, I meant to go to a blood web. That's a crappy build right there. I don't know what I was doing. But you can see I have her blood web filled out completely. So as soon as Yui and Oni come out, who are the next DLC coming in a couple weeks, as soon as they come out, I'll be able to level Yui very quickly with all the blood points I'll have stored. And then just one node, and I'll have those teachables unlocked for my Fang. So hopefully that helps. If you guys have any questions, feel free to comment below. Share with your friends if they're looking to bank their points. And good luck in the fog.